Boop. Come on, stay with me, little guy. Stay with me. Don't you go into the light.
No.
Who's a good girl? Anywho, our dog was flatlining everyone.
Yeah, and that's the.
This is the third one of these we've done today. I'm running out of stuff to open these with. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And this is our Gauntlet of Garbage, our look back at the worst films of the previous year, all leading up to our worst movies countdown at the end of the month. And today we're talking about Flatliners, which is a remake that I'm sure someone was asking for, but wow, wasn't me.
Yeah, like I didn't even see like the original.
I never saw the original either. I didn't.
But like after seeing this and how dumb this was, I really want to know how good the other one is.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I am very intrigued.
Yeah, which, by the way, we're gonna make a lot of complaints about this movie because it's bad. But there's some complaints I'm going to make. As we said, we never saw the original, so I might make complaints about the original and not realize it.
Yeah.
And if you want to come in here and say, well, it was like that in the original, well, then consider that a future complaint for that film. Or maybe they handled it better than they did in this one. But yeah, this is Flatliners, which is a movie about these medical students who decide they want to see what happens to the brain when you have a near-death experience. Okay, that's a concept that I can go along with. You can do some stuff with that. So Ellen Page forces herself to basically die. She causes herself to die, and she stays dead for almost 4 minutes. They bring her back, and now she is a super genius. She is remembering all these things she's forgotten in her life. She has so much energy and so much life inside of her. And so then all of a sudden the other people decide, well, I'm gonna do it too. And they come back as super geniuses as well. But then they start getting haunted by the ghost of their past. Like Ellen Page is being haunted by like the ghost of her little sister who died because she was texting in the car while driving it.
Yeah.
Which don't do that. And then, the like douchebaggy guy who goes second.
James?
Is that what's his name? His name was...
I know it's James or Jamie, yeah.
You're way better at remembering names than I am. But then Jamie, it just hit me how few people are in this movie.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this cast, it's almost nothing.
Yeah, like it was just like that small group of
yeah, but
students.
Like, none of them have like supporting characters or anything like that. Like,
that's because all the supporting characters are dead.
So he starts getting haunted by stuff, and then the other two girls who did this, they start getting haunted. The only person who doesn't do it is Diego Luna, because he looks at you and goes, this is fucking stupid.
And he was the only one who knew how to bring them back to life.
Man, they try bringing Ellen Page back, they can't do it. Diego Luna comes in there, who is not invited to the death party, and then he's the one who's able to revive her. And then Jamie does it too, and Diego Luna's able to revive him. And then everybody keeps talking about, it's like, well, sorry. Well, if you're gonna be like a wet blanket about all this, if you don't want us doing it, then you don't have to come. And it's like, motherfucker, he's the only one who actually knows how to save you after your dumbasses do this. And don't tell him to not be a part of this. Try and win him over on this shit.
And he stays because he's like, I'm responsible for these idiots.
Man,
that's basically...
You feel so bad for him. Because it's like, you know he's stupid. He knows it's stupid. But he also knows they're gonna keep doing it, and I can't stop him. Like, you can't legally keep someone from putting themselves in a near-death state. Like, there's no action he can really take about this, aside from, like, alerting, like, I don't know, the college campus that they're doing it in, like, the sub-basement, which is weird. This college campus has a hospital in the sub-basement that no one goes in, except the cleaning people, and it's like, well, why are cleaning people going in there if no one goes in this thing? It's very odd.
I think it's, like, an emergency, like, hospital area.
I guess, like, for, like, backup, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... he basically is like, I have to keep doing this, otherwise you idiots will kill yourself. But, so Jamie gets really smart. Well, another girl in there, this third girl who does it, what was her name? Was it Sophia? Yeah, it's gotta be. There's only like 5 people in this movie. And it definitely wasn't Cyrus Gudge. So yeah, Sophia, she just gets horny. Like, that's all there is to her. Like, she solves a Rubik's Cube at one point, so okay, I guess she gets smart too, but she also just wants to fuck everything. So, yeah.
Like, here's the thing, is, like, apparently, like, when you die, you get, like, your nervous system like starts shutting down little by little, like it's like and then like.
Man, she is element. Anyway, as you were saying, yeah.
And then like when you revive it, like basically like all your nervous system gets like rejuvenated, supercharged, yeah. So it's like
they were showing you like the parts of the brains that were being activated at each part of their death, and like there's something like, well, this is the part that controls all these emotions, this is the part that controls all this information. It's like, okay, well, it all basically just got supercharged. Basically.
Yeah, so that would explain why everyone can remember things and why they're horny and
yeah. But first off, this movie is not really smart at all to begin with.
Which disappoints me, like, it had the potential to be smart.
It does have the potential, yes. But here's what the big problem to me was, like, immediately. And it's not even the big problem in the film, it was just the first thing that made me go, none of this makes fucking sense, is that in the trailer for this, you see them, like, going back to doing it over and over and over again. And there's, like, one moment in the trailer in which they say, this time I'm going for 6 minutes. And it's like, okay, so you've clearly done this before. And like you're going back over and over and over again, just killing yourself over and over. So the trailer makes it seem like they're constantly doing this, and like each time they get a little bit smarter. Each time this happens a little bit more. Each time something builds up. No.
They all do it just once.
Only do it once. And this movie opens up with people talking about what their near-death experiences felt like what they saw, the bright lights, all their family, all that stuff, all this stuff. It has people talking about their near-death experiences. And then you have Ellen Page going up to someone who, in their hospital, had a near-death experience. Like, well, what do you see? What do you remember? What was this thing? And all I could think while I was watching this was, if this happened to everyone after one near-death experience, wouldn't there be countless super geniuses walking around on the planet? Do you know how many people out there have been like, oh yeah, you were actually dead for like 5 minutes? We all probably know like one person who's like, yeah, when I was like 5, I was like almost dead for a moment. Or, oh, when I was in college, this happened and I was in a coma for a couple minutes.
And like also it's like, if that happened like every time, wouldn't it proven that there is an afterlife?
It would have proven something.
Something, yes.
So it's like, it's one of those things where if it only takes one time for this to happen to you, why just you? Why just this group of people is it only happening to? This movie begins by telling you how many people out there have had near-death experiences. Then shouldn't this be a real easy thing to study? Like, if there is that much of a change in someone after they have a near-death experience, there should be countless amounts of information on this subject. This should have been very easily studied by this point in time. I really thought it was going to be one thing in which Ellen Page comes back and she's like, a little bit different, and then she decides, I'm going to do it again. It's like, what? No, that's crazy, you can't do it again. And then she does it again. It's like, fuck, they bring her back, and now she's much more different. And they start getting intrigued, and then one person goes, you know what, fuck it, do me too. And then they keep doing a little bit more, and each time they're like, yeah, now it's getting really good. Now it's like a drug. Now we're really kind of addicted to it.
Yeah, it's like, I felt like the reason why they would keep having near-death experiences is because, you know, like you said, no one experiences that like after one time.
Yeah.
So it's like,
so that would make sense for this.
So it's like, I don't think it happened quite right. Try it again, this time longer.
Or like Ellen Page, like have the movie start with Ellen Page having a near-death experience, or like she, like when she wrecks the car with her sister, which that's how it opens.
Yeah.
Have her like almost die. Have it be like, yeah, we pulled you out of this. You were dead for like a couple minutes. And like she's like, I remember seeing all this stuff and I remember feeling all this stuff. And she's always been fascinated by that.
Yeah.
And she's always wanted to know, like, okay, go back to it. And so like, because she's already done it once, she goes back and forces herself to do it again. Now she starts to get a little bit different. And then she goes back and is like, well, now I can tell some things are different. Things do feel different. I'm gonna go back and do it a third time. You can't do it a third. Oh wow, now you're very different. It's like, okay, plus there's no reason at all for her to be fascinated with this.
I think
the closest I could come up with was maybe she thinks there is an afterlife and she's trying to meet her sister again.
Yeah, I thought that was like her reason. Like I thought maybe she wants like a near-death experience to like see her sister again and apologize.
It's like just enough for me to be able to go, all right, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, man, there's such a better way to like set up like why she would like be interested in the idea of near-death experiences. Like I said, like have her have already had one. So that way when she forces herself to have one a second time, it's like, okay, and now you're a little bit different.
And I thought like her, like the car accident was like what motivated her to be a doctor. It's like, I was not able to save my sister's life, but maybe I can save other people's lives.
That can make sense, yes.
Yeah, but they didn't bring that up.
That never really comes up.
No.
But then, like I said, she has this near-death experience. And the next day, she is like playing piano that she never knew she could do. She's like
No, like she had piano lessons in like third grade, but like then she starts remembering it.
Yeah, and like she remembers her grandma's old bread recipe, which she says, I'm gonna bake bread, and it's my grandma's old recipe, and she brings it in, it's like, oh man, who made bread? Oh yeah, it's her grandma's old recipe, she remembers. You see the bread, it's just actual basic ass bread. It's like, it's not even like banana bread or pumpkin bread or anything like that. It's like, yeah, that's just
Oh, and she baked the bread in like 2 a.m. or something like that?
Yeah, because she has so much energy and she's so hyped up. And it's like, yeah, she is like a drug addict, basically.
Yeah, it's like, it really is like that they're on drugs.
Yeah,
like,
but after seeing this happen for like a day, just following her around for like a day, Jamie then goes, fuck it, I'm next. And I'm like, do none of you want to like, you're doctors. Don't you want to like stay here for a week, a month, see what side effects there could possibly be?
It was like, I feel like the only one who I sympathized with was the black girl. What was her name?
Sophia?
Yeah, Sophia. Like, because, like, after she found out that, like, doing this, like, regenerates your memory and everything, and she's been struggling to memorize all these symptoms and all this textbook stuff.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
it's like she... Like the first time you see her, she's crying in the library because she's under so much pressure to like study all this stuff, and she's like, I just can't take it. My brain's gonna explode. Please do this to me.
You know what? I can see that.
Yeah, like I said, she's the only one I can sympathize with because I understand her motives. Everyone else is like, oh, I want to be a superhuman or something like that.
The only one I could sympathize with was Diego Luna because he was the one looking he was the one looking at them like, fucking idiots.
I mean, out of the ones who actually flatlined.
Yes. Okay, so that was the dumbest thing to me at the beginning. Is I was like, so you only had to do it once and some of you have powers? Then how come nobody else in this film has powers or you talk about having near-death experiences? Your own film breaks the logic of the thing it set up half an hour before this. Like, the opening of this film is broken by the rest of this film.
This is really actually a superhero origin. Like, everyone in this universe like has near-death experiences, and now they can like do all this superhero stuff.
Doesn't it feel at one point like maybe that's why Ellen Page looks the way that she does? Maybe it got her into shape. Because here's the thing: I have not seen Ellen Page in a while. I feel so bad because I know that like she's. Ellen Page came out as being a lesbian, and then all of a sudden she wasn't in movies anymore, and I look at that and I was like, man, fuck Hollywood. Hollywood is so prejudiced, and nobody wants to talk about that shit, but yeah, you know that, like, Ellen Page is an incredibly talented actress, and now she has to take shit like this, because, like, Hollywood won't hire her, because, yeah, Hollywood doesn't like giving roles to the LGBT community, unless they're going to be, like, some stereotype or something. So, I was so sad that she was in this film. But when she is like getting set up to have the near-death experience, she takes her shirt off and like she's still got a sports bra underneath. And oh my god, Ellen Page is built like a brick shithouse. Ellen Page is ripped.
She's got abs for days. Holy shit.
There's another moment in here like after like another person has their flatline moment in which like, yeah, she's partying and she doesn't like have her shirt on again. She's just got like a bra underneath. Dear God, she could bench press me. Ellen Page, little tiny like Kitty Pryde, Juno, like little tiny Ellen Page, still very tiny, but she was like, fuck it, if I'm gonna be tiny and they're not gonna give me work, I'm gonna bench press all day long. Oh God, she is ripped. It looks like she was like, well, if this acting thing doesn't work out, I can always become an ultimate fighting champion. I can always get into the ring. God, Ronda Rousey is not in as good a shape as Ellen Page is in this film. Like, that is how much she is just jacked up in this. And I'm not saying this, like, in any way, like, I'm not saying this in, like, a negative way.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
She was awesome looking.
I'm just saying this, like, jaw drop wise. I was like, when did this happen? Have you just been wearing like hoodies nonstop every time I've seen you your entire life, and this is the first time I've seen you take your shirt off, and you've just been jacked up this entire time? It was insane. Like, Street Fighter characters don't look as good as she does. Like, she could kick everyone's ass on that set. Like, the moment that she is being chased down by the ghost of her sister, I was like, just fucking roundhouse kick her. I know you can. If anybody out there could roundhouse kick a ghost, it's Ellen Page. Oh my god, not a sentence I thought I'd ever say. Yeah, so kudos to her and what she's been doing.
Yeah, but now you gave away the spoiler, I guess.
We never worry about order in this. Yeah.
I know.
So this is when it gets really dumb. She starts seeing like the ghost of her sister, like coming back and like haunting her, and like it eventually like ends up pushing her over like this fire escape, and that was the biggest shock of this film. They killed the protagonist halfway through this movie. Mm-hmm. This is the second movie we've seen like that this year.
Yep.
Why is it that so many movies decided to do that this year? And they were all terrible, too. This movie killed off Ellen Page halfway through, and all you could think was they were like, well, she's the biggest name actress in this movie, except for maybe Diego Luna. Like, I don't know who's more. But all I could think was they were like, yeah, this is going to be like Drew Barrymore in Scream. It's like, no, not quite. Because that was a shock because it happened at the beginning of the film. This was more like, did you just fucking kill the star? We still have half of this movie left. It was so bizarre. And maybe Ellen Page just won out of this thing? I don't know.
She's like, oh, this movie sucks. Kill me in this.
But Jamie is being haunted by the PT demo because like he got a woman pregnant and she ended up having an abortion, and he starts hearing baby cries everywhere, and he starts seeing like her following him around as well. And I was like, okay, so he got her pregnant and like she had an abortion, and she was like really depressed because you see her like crying on the couch at one point, and it's like, okay, well maybe she killed herself or something. No, turns out she's still alive.
Yeah.
Also, spoiler, it turns out she didn't have the abortion, she actually kept the child, and she's been trying to like not let the dad know about this whole time, which he's a total piece of shit, so...
Yeah, he's an absolute
I'm not going to judge on that. But, so that made me go, so you're being haunted by, wait a minute, but she's still alive.
Yeah.
So you're being haunted by someone that's still alive? What?
Yeah, like...
That doesn't work.
Like, it would, like... You thought that the reason why they were being haunted by dead people is because they had a near-death experience, and it's like, you must come with us.
I thought his thing was like, okay, you got so close to death, now you can kind of see death.
Yeah.
Because there are moments in which they will like have like a little like flash, and then they'll look around and no one will be around them. They're just like in an empty area or something. And I was like, okay, you're like crossing over into the land of the dead or something like that. You're like seeing the land of the dead. So it's like, okay, you're seeing ghosts. No, that person's alive. So why are they coming after you? And they're like, we're being haunted by our guilt. We're being haunted by the things that we always felt terrible about. And I was just like,
what does that have to do with near-death experiences?
What the fuck? How's that work out? What's that do with anything? And then they go further into details on it. It's like, maybe when we crossed over and we flatlined, we opened a door and we let something loose. And I went, we get so close to death that now we can see death. Done. Simple. You made it. We got so close to death that we opened a door and let a demon out, and now the demon is following us and haunting us with our sins, haunting us with our guilt. And I was like, the fuck? How does that work?
Like, I understand like different interpretations of the afterlife have you like being judged by the pearly gates. So I thought like maybe that's their sins, like
the way that I viewed it, and man, I had to do some mental gymnastics on this shit. The way that I viewed it is because they each did horrible things, they were going to go to hell. So basically when they flatlined, they went to hell, and now hell's like, no, you ain't going back. Not yet. That is the closest I can get. But if that's it, dude, you wasted this film. If that's what this is, you could have done some Silent Hill shit on this. You could have had them like walking around, and then all of a sudden like they start hearing noises creeping up on them. They look around, like mold is starting to spread around the building and no one else can see it. Like the lights start flickering and no one else can understand. It's like they start like seeing like things getting closer to them down the hall. No, instead it's just, gonna get you. I'm your sister. Blah.
Yeah, it's like
fuck you.
It's like the most horror movie trope bullshit.
It's just like, I don't know, do something. Like they were like, what do the kids like in horror films? Things coming at them. okay. It's like, again, I think that my interpretation of this, that's like, okay, they went to hell and because they were bad people and now hell's trying to bring them back. I don't think that's what this was, because I don't think they realized that's the concept they could have worked with.
Yeah, like I said, I understand like the concept of being judged by the pearly gates and everything. I was like, that's not what happened. I thought that's what they were trying to do, but they obviously did not.
We both came up with way better ideas for this film than they did.
Exactly, and it's like...
Yeah,
and how exactly? And I gave you like, and I talked to you about how bad of a person do you have to be? Like, how bad of a thing do you have to do in order to be like haunted?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, okay, so what are the rules on this? Because okay, the bad thing that Ellen Page did was she was texting while driving and she ended up getting her sister killed. Oh, that's that's very bad. But man, getting your entire life destroyed? Well, yeah, okay, it's bad. Jamie, he got this girl pregnant and he was gonna go with her to the abortion clinic. But then he chickened out and he kept driving on past and left her there. So it's like, okay, that's a pretty dick move.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dick move. The
other lady,
Sophia, she was jealous of someone with better GPA than her, so she like made like mock naked photos of her and sent them around to everyone, and she got so depressed that she then that student had to drop out of school. It's like, kind of, that's really bad. That's really bad.
But then there was like that other woman, like she got a patient killed because
she got a patient killed because she didn't understand that he had an allergy, and she should have asked if he had an allergy. She gave him the bad medication that didn't mix well with like medication that he was already taking.
Yeah.
And that ended up killing him. And she altered the files to say that he died because of something else, not her. And I thought, that's more of a mistake. Like, I hate saying it like that, but it's like, man, if you're a doctor, especially if you're a doctor in training, it's understandable you would forget to ask someone if they're taking a medication. And, man, it's like, man, that's one slip up, and the outcome is horrible, but it's one's like, man, fuck, man.
And also, I don't know, it was like, killing your sister, is that really on the same level as like hacking a friend's photo?
Yeah, it seems like what Jamie and Sophia did were way worse than anyone else, because like what Ellen Page and fourth girl did were accidents, and Ellen Page should have known better. That one kind of was her fault. But the other girl was like, man, it's a terrible thing that happened, but sometimes you can't really blame you that much. It's like, I can understand for getting something like that if you're new.
Like, I imagine like someone flatlining and like their biggest sin was they cheated on their math test in the 2nd grade.
Like, do you go to hell for that?
Like, geez, that's a very harsh judgment in the afterlife.
But like the thing that they have to do to try and like escape whatever this demon is that's coming for them, which again, I don't even really know what it is, because whatever it is, they never play into it enough.
Yeah.
For it to be, it's like, we opened the door and something came through.
It's like,
what?
Like, if they left that line out of the movie, it probably would have made a lot more sense, because they're each being haunted by their own guilt instead of being haunted by this random demon.
No, I don't think it would either, because if everyone was dead that they're being haunted by, we already came up with what that pitch is. Okay, they went there, they see the land of the dead that like blame them for stuff are haunting them. Fine, done, boom, done. But if they were being now haunted by people that were alive, and it's like, we're being haunted by our own sins, what the fuck does that have to do with flatlining? It feels
like I said, like,
it feels like someone
but...
had, again, I think, I don't think most people would come to that conclusion. Yeah, it's they're being judged by their own sins. The average person is not going to like be able to go, okay, that connects with Flatline. It seems like this was a pitch for a different film. And they went, hey, we could remake Flatliners. Merge that with this script. And I fucking hate when people do that.
Unless this is what happened in the original Flatliners, which once again we did not see, so feel free to comment below.
Maybe, dude, I can only imagine it was done better, because I can't imagine that in the original Flatliners they just went, when we crossed over, we opened a door, and now we're being haunted by our sins. None of that makes sense. But it seems like if they had stopped to think this out, they could have done some cooler shit with it. Like I said, if they wanted to make it like they went to hell because they're bad people and hell's just trying to reclaim them or something, it's like, yeah, make this some Silent Hill stuff. Make it where it's like they start looking at people and they're turning into like demons or stuff in front of them. Like, have fire like popping up while they're talking.
I was seriously hoping this would be like a psychological thriller because you know it has to do with studying the brain when you die.
Jacob's Ladder stuff. Yeah, this could have been a great psychological thriller, and it's so much and it just stops that instantly to be, boo! I'm the sister and I look wet because I died in water.
Ooh, I'm the ring girl. Ooh, you literally just...
There's bits in there of that. There's bits. There's little bits. Little bit. Yeah, this is such a wasted concept, and everything that they do to try and like justify what this story is just makes you look at it and go, well, you could have done way cooler stuff with what we have to figure out you're talking about because you don't know what you're talking about. The concept that they come up with in here doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And honestly, yeah, I don't like most of these people, so I don't care. The only one I kind of liked was Ellen Page, and she's the only one that dies in here. And also, like, when they get, like, the superpowers in here, it's like, that doesn't make any sense either. This is not like a rare thing. This is something that you establish at the beginning of the film happens to lots of people.
Also, the superpower thing doesn't come up after they realize that they're being haunted by their guilt and shit.
Yeah, you're right. They just go back to normal.
Yeah.
But also, they say in order to escape this, they have to get forgiveness for what they did. And the fourth girl, the one who like made the mistake and got the person killed, she has to forgive herself is what she discovers at the end of this.
Yeah.
I was like, seems like a cop-out.
Yeah. But
then the douchebag guy, the guy who spends his whole film being a piece of shit, after he finds out, oh, she didn't get the abortion, she still has my child. Which, by the way, the child gives one of the best line reads I've ever read. Like, it sounds like 3 different lines of dialogue that they had to splice together. Like, after the mom walks away.
And he was off screen.
He was off screen, too. After the kid walks away, you just hear this kid go, who's that man, mommy? And like, ooh. Ooh, couldn't do a second take on that, could you? Okay. All right. But, yeah, after he finds out, she's like, listen, leave me alone. You weren't there for me then, you don't need to be there for me now. Leave me alone. She does not forgive him. No one forgives him. And yet he's fine at the end of this. The demons just stops coming because at the end of this he goes, you know what? I was gonna move away, but I'm gonna stay here in town, be close to them. I'm gonna be a good dad. I'm
gonna stalk them.
It's like she doesn't. Feels like you should have reconnected with her before you decided I'm gonna be a good dad. First thing you need to do is get her to decide. Okay, fine, you get to see the kid. At least that. But no, all we get is stay the fuck away from us. You know what? I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna be a good dad. I was like. So, is that why you're not being haunted by your ghost baby anymore?
I seriously wanted him to die because he was such a fucking dick.
He's such a piece of shit in this
Also, if it's a horror movie, more than one person should die.
The body count in this is small.
It is.
It is. So, yeah, man, this is... Whew. This film... It's just such wasted potential with no good ideas in here. And the only ideas it has... don't match up with the rest of the film.
They don't match up.
They don't make any sense at all. So
it's like they had several good ideas, but they didn't know what to do with them, so they just threw it out the window and just mushed together whatever they had left.
It's a weird amalgam of multiple ideas, and but you left out all the parts from each idea that make them work. So now you just have you have a really bad Frankenstein. Like if Frankenstein also had no legs. That's what this is.
I felt like that's a perfect analogy since Frankenstein is a character that comes back from the dead too, so...
Yeah, there you go.
Frankenstein flatlined.
That's the next installment in the Dark Universe. That's Universal's next attempt to create their shared universe. So, thank you guys for tuning in. That was the last of our 3 videos today. We have 2 more films to do.
But we're not going to do that today. We're done.
We're done.
For now.
I can't talk anymore. I'm done. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you come back next time. Bye.
Bye.